Are we that far from living in Squid Games? Interesting question to ask ourselves. Bonjour, hi, my loves. I hope you're doing well. I hope you're doing fine. So, in today's episode, as you may have guessed it, I will talk about how far are we really to live in a Squid Game-esque universe if it's not already happening. So don't worry if you haven't watched the newest season, I won't give any spoilers in this episode. Just kind of give my opinion on if we are or not living in a Squid Game universe right now. Maybe not as cinematic as the show, but still. And for those who are wondering, I absolutely loved season 2. I am so excited for season 3. So there's multiple reasons why I think personally that we are already living in a Squid Game world. And the first one is if we look at homelessness. So across the US, more than 771,000 people live without housing in 2024, according to a count taken annually on a single night in January. The number for January 2024 is 18.1% higher than in 2023, when officials counted about 650,000 people living in homeless shelters or in parks and on streets. The amount of homelessness in the US just keeps on rising, and it doesn't help that I feel like as a society we kind of exclude homeless people, as if in the eyes of society it sees homeless people as if they are less deserving than the one who inserted themselves in the society, as if homelessness is purely a choice. And often society makes us believe, oh, but they wouldn't be there if they knew how to manage their money, they wouldn't be there if they didn't spend their money on illegal stuff, and you name it. And by saying that, you completely allow yourself to show no mercy and empathy. You completely assume that people who are homeless chose to be homeless, as if it wasn't for other factors like the prices of rents that keep on getting higher and higher. Same thing for food, same thing for honestly any other sphere in our society. And I feel like the fact that we are seeing that, how people have no shame in mistreating homeless people and completely ignoring them, I'm not surprised. I won't be surprised if a Squid Game show is actually happening in real life, because unfortunately once you become a homeless person, people simply don't care if you're alive or dead. So I won't be surprised if something like Squid Game is happening in real life. And as we've seen in the show, the person who is looking out for the new players, they only look out for people who are living in poverty and or homeless people. Another reason why I think we are probably already living in a Squid Game world is if we look at missing people. According to the National Missing Persons Database, which is funded by the US Department of Justice, more than 600,000 people go missing annually, and approximately 4,400 unidentified bodies are recovered each year. Nationwide, there are roughly 6.5 missing persons for every 100,000 people. Again, it's completely insane. The fact that these numbers are absolutely absurd and super scary, and again, there's missing people, missing children, missing men and women all over the world, and I won't be surprised, honestly, if some of these missing people are not being killed, but instead put in a weird and twisted game like Squid Game. And we have seen that, unfortunately, many times before. For example, fucking Jeffrey Epstein and his fucking island. Like, for those who don't know, Jeffrey Epstein was an American finance guy and child sex offender, and he cultivated an elite social circle and took many women and children to sexually abuse them. He bought a whole ass fucking island so that he can do these horrible crimes, and he invited many celebrities, many politicians, many people from the royal family to participate in these horrible crimes, and to know that money equals power, and for some people who have so many fucking money, they eventually abuse their powers. And to think that something like Squid Game isn't happening in real life, it's mind-blowing to me. And unfortunately, a lot of women and children who were brought up on Epstein's island, they happen to be also missing people cases. Like, do you see how they're all interconnected? Like, it's absolutely disgusting. And just in recent years, Diddy, where he would organize parties where he would invite a lot of celebrities from the Kardashians, Ashton Kutcher, Jay-Z, the list goes on. And in these parties, a lot of men, women, and children were abused sexually. A lot of them were kidnapped. A lot of them were coerced. A lot of them were forced. Like, to think that something like Squid Game isn't happening in real life, it's honestly just so disgusting. Another reason why I think we are already living in a Squid Game world is to know that there's the dark web. And for those who don't know, the dark web is a part of the internet that isn't indexed by search engines. Given its anonymous nature, the dark web is also used for illicit and even illegal purposes. These include the buying and selling of illegal drugs, weapons, passwords, and stolen identities. Not only you can buy, as I've just said, weapons and drugs, you can buy organs, you can buy people. It's so fucking disgusting. And thank God there's like government agencies like FBI, I think, that are on the dark web to like shut down these people who are doing that, but they're unfortunately unable to shut down all of them. So these things happen, like we've seen in Squid Game, like them harvesting organs. Like, it's not that far-fetched to think that people are doing that. Another reason why I believe that we are already living in a Squid Game universe is if we look at our past, at our history. Do you remember the Colosseum? Gladiators? Like, the Colosseum alone was able to hold up to 50,000 to 80,000 people, where they would all the time fucking go and watch gladiators fight to death. Thousands of gladiators have died during these practices, and we weren't shocked by it. We quite celebrated them. It was something festive. It was something cultural. It was an entertaining show where thousands and thousands of people died just in front of them, and they just cheered. So you really think that, knowing that us as humans have did that in the past, you really think that we cannot do it right now? With the amount of technology, with the amount of tools, with the amount of guns, you think we cannot do that? Even more for the people who actually have the true power, the 1%, people who have countless amounts of money. You think that they won't get bored at a certain point because you have so much money. You can literally do whatever you want. At a certain point, you've bought everything you've wanted. You've visited every country you've wanted to visit. You lived every experience that money was able to buy you. So you think that some of them won't try and do the darker things, the cruel things, the illegal stuff that gives you the adrenaline, something that you haven't felt in years because money gave you this ease in life? You think that we're not living already in a Squid Game world. And this is how I'll end today's episode. I hope that you liked today's episode. I hope that you're not like that depressed and scared. It wasn't my intention. My intention was only to share my opinion. So on that note, I hope you have a beautiful night of sleep. I love you. Take care. Au revoir.